Hello. As the title suggests, I'm thinking about going back to 12 noon for my streaming time. Okay, right now let me check the live chat if it's available. It's not yet. Yo. Yep, we got disconnected. I wonder if you guys can feel it on your end when I disconnect. Yo, good morning. You ready here? How are ya? Let me just put the live chat on. Okay, and then let me reconnect. Anyway, of course, I've been told by a different department to await further instructions, and I'm pretty worried. That it might not push through.
Expect a crew of at least 2 and a couple of MG-42s.
What the frick? Why didn't know? Because of the sample rate.
So what's the plan, Sarge? I need runners with suppressing fire. Garcia, Hawkins, take the left with Rossetti and Jones. The rest will follow me up the right flank. I want grenades on them as soon as...
Anyway, this is Call of Duty 2. There's no sprint. So shift is melee attack. Why does it feel like it's choppy? Feels choppy. So I really hope that everyone is doing their job so that my application doesn't lapse. Boom.
Nice shooting, Taylor. Pack your bags, we're moving in.
I'm gonna keep the scoped rifle. So, I'm pretty stressed out. Thinking about my application status. Oops. Let me. This game is pretty neat, I remember back then the whole installation, because they only needed one DVD because of the small file size, less than 4 GB. Oh, I haven't died. And there's no feature of cooking the grenade yet. OMG. The G43 is actually my favorite. What the frick? I kinda miss Battlefield 5. But it's not a very good experience because my PC cannot play it smoothly. What the frick? I think I might die right now. See, I'm just hip firing it. No, I haven't died yet. I think I'm gonna hit this guy in the head. Oh yeah, he keeps on blocking my line of fire. Oh, I don't have the one scope. That's pretty neat. Oh, that's a nice gun. And one carbine. I also like that one. Yay! Ask and you shall receive. Think giving us a finer front sight. And that kinda makes it easier to aim at smaller and farther targets. I wonder if there's like Call of Duty World at War where I only need 2 hits from this one to drop them. Okay, I don't think so. Looks like I need 4 hits. Okay, I'm dropping them with 2 hits. So I can go out of... Nice. Lol, that's a perfect place to drop him. That's pretty funny. Oh man, this one is running out. I love using this gun. Okay, hold on. I wonder what I'm gonna cook later. One is running out. Man, this is wrong. This is freaking wrong. Wrong title. You know, I'm not yet sure if I can actually go back to noon time title. Oh man. Oh man. You know, this is pretty bad because crouch is not toggle. Like I need to press spacebar to stand up. And you know, you can easily accidentally jump like this. If right now I thought I was crouching and then I press spacebar, it would be a freaking jump. Hello, Uncle Cat. How are ya? Hope you're doing well. How did he not die from that? Did he freaking spawn after the grenade exploded? That house is gonna be hard to clear. There are many rooms. Many walls to cover them from explosions. It's a good thing you're still studying. Are you also working part-time? I think I heard more than one people scream. That's good. What the frick? This house isn't cleared yet. We're already done with this one.
Enemy troops! House cleared! Let's go! Bennett! On the far side of those barrels! Out front! Ground floor! Open fire! Man down! Glasgow! Reloading! Keep the crowds off my back, will ya? We need more concealment! Put up a smoke screen! Use your smoke!
Pew 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 pew. Oh! On the way, it saved. I think I saw someone run.
German troops! On the first floor! Right side!
I wonder if I'm gonna take a semi-automatic. See, I'm gonna take a semi-automatic later. You know, what's hard about this game? For this mission, if you're on top of the silo, you're gonna have mortars.
Find that silo with Rayburn and McCloskey and watch for an enemy counterattack.
And then,
Everyone else, take up positions around the perimeter.
each of the enemy mortar teams have 3 shots to zero in. So if you allow them to fire 3 rounds at you, they're gonna hit you. So you have to eliminate them before they do.
Here they come! German counterattack! Rayburn! Get through to Colonel Blake!
There, just like that.
This is North 5! Objective taken at Rally Point Echo! Enemy infantry counterattacking!
You know, if you can drop the guy who's carrying the mortar, you don't have to eliminate both.
No respect, sir! I don't think we're gonna last that long! Over!
Wonder where it is. That one, see? Oh, see? Before they can set it up.
Infantry in the outfit! Southwest!
Got him! One shot. Got him.
German troops! Far side of the field! Shoot those bastards! German mortar emplacement! North-northeast!
See why I love the M1 carbine. Excuse me. Oh. Makes it easy. I can drop them in one shot. It's over.
We got friendly tanks coming from the east! Looks like they sent us a couple of Germans! About damn time! The Krauts are giving up the fight! That's right, Fritz! Just keep running! Squad! Regroup on me!
You know, the front sight. The front sight on this one is very similar to the ones on modern M16 and M4s. Just like that. What the frick? Oh man.
Good work, everyone. Make sure your sectors are well covered and we'll meet back here in an hour. Dismissed.
What the frick? Let's just do it regular. And of course, one more reason I wanna stream during the day so that my gaming PC can also run on free energy.
Take cover! Enemy troops! Bottom fall! Take up positions in this broken wall!
Hold on, does my stand use the same ammo as this one? No, I think they made it different. That means I'm gonna have to switch. Which is sad. You know, I like to use novelty weapons. Frick. What the frick? It's also clearing out they really get tired from studying, or they just get bored. You know, I think I never got tired from studying, just bored. You know, I realized that when I first I mean, if you do some training and then you maybe do a summer job, you'd realize pretty quick that studying isn't very tiring. Hello guys, how are ya? I can't remember which one of you is from the Philippines and which one is from Australia. So, why are you guys still awake? Yeah. So how are you guys doing? I hope you're all doing well and not being emo. Not being emo. Yeah, it's pretty old. Use Call of Duty too. Hold on, let me put it on the chat. What the frick? No, frick. It's a freaking tiger. Oh, that sounds nice. Oh, the rain is making it hard to see. B. Oh, I haven't been using the smoke grenades since the previous mission. One 165. Which one is the flak gun? C, as in Charlie. Yeah, I love own games, man. You know, I actually got to play this game for the first time in, I don't know, 2013, 2014, 2012. I really cannot remember. I thought it was clear already. Okay. I'm gonna leave my stand now. I'm gonna miss that gun. Oh, look, it's Captain Price. Look at him. He's always in Call of Duty.
Establish a base of fire from this building. Focus your fire on the church. Germans on the church on the right. Enemy down. Squad suppressing fire.
There's a person there.
Davis, move up to the church. Enemy down. Heads by the church, southwest.
Oops. What the frick? Good thing I stepped back before he can hit me with a melee attack.
Nelson and Whitley, stand guard until I release Circa. Everyone else, you're with me. Still have a German field HQ to capture. Now let's move out. Enemy down! Northeast! Squad, we're on a base of fire in this takeoff.
You know, I don't think AI can... You know, I don't think that the AI can see the bush. So you can't hide from them. Like they can see right through that one. That's great. Oh, like what? You know, I avoid playing on my phone so that I wouldn't lose sleep. Frick. Oops, I think that's a friendly. What the frick? Oh man, this is the second time I died. Okay, Nik Rush. I remember that one. That's pretty old. Oh yeah, I have smoke. Why not?
Davis, clear those rooms! Hurry!
Spray and pray. Oops. None of the windows are open. Hey, maybe I can attack the structure from there. I used to do that. Yo, what's with the disconnections? Freaking hell. Got disconnected again. Hold on, let me reconnect. I should really check out the... I think it's a network issue. It's the internet. That's a task manager, lol. And you guys see it. Lol. Getting disconnected. There's an open window. Oops. I think the next mission would be a defensive one. You know, I won't get bored if it were just single player. Just like this one.
Take cover! Get to the barn! Move! Keep on me! Keep moving! Don't stop! See what it'll burn into our enemy down! have to find and take out those mortars. McGregor, get that barn door open. Let's go.
Oh, let's not get the defensive. Mobile Legends. You know how I know a lot of people who play Mobile Legends? Like 90% of people I know. I think 90%. Oh man. I've never played Mobile Legends, no, I don't like it. I mean, no offense if you like it. I personally don't. Enemies everywhere. So I'm just gonna go straight for the objective. OMG, they made it easy. Clear. LOL.
We've got to take that field HQ to the north. Witnessing infantry! German infantry! On the left!
I wonder if I can destroy that using grenades. Probably not. Nope. Bro, where are my teammates? They went to the objective without me. I'm all by myself. Okay, let me get some grenades first. Damn. Or I think we're gonna have to defend this place.
Regroup, lads. Over here. On my position. Let's go. King 6 to easy 6. We've taken our bloody objective. Over. You heard that, lads. Take up defensive positions in the farmhouse. Let's move. Stop away from the side. Find a good position and get ready.
Now, if I remember correctly, there's gonna be another half track. Run. They can also come from the basement. See? Oops. Meow, 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 meow. Come on, man. They almost got me. Yeah, I've played that before. That's pretty nice. I wonder if that's on Steam or not. Eliminate the tiger. So where's the anti-tank weapon? He said circle around from the left. Oops. Come on, man. Frick. Come on.
Sergeant Davis, use your explosives and plant them on that tank! Go! Crash troops!
Come on. You can't see me. Nice. Yeah, thanks for dropping by. Thank you for coming to the stream. You take care. Take care. And sleep well. Let's just do it regular. I'm not really very good. Yeah, I haven't defrosted anything yet because I haven't decided what I'm gonna eat. Friendly fire right away.
First we gotta kick Jerry out of this cute little town. On me! I'm right behind you! German troops! Bottom floor! Take out their infantry! House is clear! Move on to the next one! German infantry! Near the sandbags! To the left!
Oh, frick. You almost got me.
House clear! Let's go! Private, get the 30 cal set up in that window! Lay down suppressing fire!
the frick? Or the stairs?
Alright, this road's blocked off. We're gonna have to cut east. Let's go.
Time to switch. I'm going down. What the frick?
Now let's head north to those enemy mortars.
They copied Band of Brothers. Oh, there's a half track there. Come on, let me get him. Yeah. They don't have grenades. Okay, this one then.
On my command, kick open the door and frag those cracks. Ready? Now! Go, go, go!
Oh, I knew it. My grenades were gonna hit someone. What? They almost got me. It's not yet cleared. Okay. What? Come on, man. Man, I gotta finish this to unlock the other missions. Excuse me. I think I'm gonna take another vitamin C. I think it's clear. Okay. No more fooling around this time.
Alright, fellas. We're gonna dig in and wait for the rest of the company. Watch for a counterattack. That hill to the north is crawling with grubs. Tomorrow morning we're going up there to clean them out. There's blood! Right out! I want the 30 cal right over here! Let some guards on the intersection! Search those bodies for intel! High up the flags! Private! Let's check out that roadblock!
There's still... Let's do it next time. I really hope that the other departments are doing their job so that I wouldn't have my application lapse. And I should also be reviewing the processes for what the other hold on, let me check something. No, I hope everything goes well. I'll also be reviewing later after the stream. Meow meow meow. Meow meow meow.
Let's go.
Hey Orby.
I need a flash.
Hey Orby.
小孩说话呀。
Hey Orby.
好。来。A 小那边 A 秀。Nice 啊！一大。
Come on,
接波。
man. Come on, man. Ah. Frick.
B。
Meow meow meow.
请假。
Boom. Get the bomb, bro. Frick. Dang it. Where's the bomb?
他很残。
Meow 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 meow.
也拆了。
Huh? Meow meow meow.
Let's go. 别打出，有保护烟了。爆伞出，没办法。
What the frick?
A 大有 AK。
Frick. Copy.
OK OK。
Copy. Copy.
人家烟疯了，
Copy.
疯火了。
Copy.
没响。B1 B1。
Copy.
杀地，请加一个，注意杀地。Nice 掉。请加来了。Nice 掉。公路的脚步。B1。 我定位到保卫烟。A 出 out。黄色，来，站我头上，你在那上面跳板上去看。哎，黄色，哎呦！A 大来了！远狙拦车。
喵。
A 闪
Land for long, please.
小 A 小 A 小 A 小 A 小，
杜龍，
要閃，兄弟幫我閃啊 ！I like you。
huh? Can you be my sugar daddy? Can you be my sugar daddy? Buy me a Big Mac. Buy me a Big Mac. Or a 4G swapper. Meow meow meow.
A 小 A 小 A 小 A 小。 看到，注意，看到，
Meow 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 meow. Buy me a Big Mac.
帮我闪黄色闪走。公路有。
给我拉大狙，
沙地一个狙，狙还在沙地，你有闪吗？封烟呀！那你就封个烟呀！你去看 A 大吧，我来看 A 大。他还在沙地 ，A 小上了，不是 A 小，来了 A 小上了。
Meow meow meow. Plan for long, bro.
在
out
房
out
顶
out
Plan
哎
for
A
long.
A A 闪 A 闪
Plan for long.
杀地 beach beach the last one
Huh? No, not there. I can see there, bro. They cannot stop it
A 多
now.
A 多 A 多 out
Bro. Meow, meow, meow. Bye, meow, meow, meow.
yellow out out flash bomb B side come on go B
No.
鱼包来，哎呀，就我俩了，他死了。
进去啊！
I mean, it's not consistent. It's just when I like open the stream. Oh, I know, I was looking at this earlier. But I'm not really interested in that right now. How about I have the 600 watt. Even those, I don't wanna use them on the... I don't wanna use them on grid anymore. The water heaters.
Smoke. Deploying flashbang. Decoys out. Grenade out.
打 B 咯，
Smoke.
B 晒 B 晒 B 晒 B 晒，这咋还买了一尾弹呀？
Bomb has been planted.
Wait. Careful.
There's a lot of wattage.
Let's go. Throwing smoke. Incendiary out. Grenade out.
Oh nice， 来了又要来了，B1
Deploying decoy.
B1 nice， 还有剑都没抽好，一掏就进去。
Terrorists win. Move. Throwing smoke. Grenade. Incendiary. Throwing grenade. Flashbang.
A 小，
哎，位一个，你大门口一个，包可以来在门口。
A 小大。
Decoy.
Ay,
门儿一
nako.
个，门儿，最后一个 A 门儿，走包吧。
No, I don't wanna... Not a lot of wattage. Man. It says ready stock, but I...
Grenade out. Grenade out.
Hold on.
Flashbang. Fire in the hole.
B。
保密。
A 小一个，A 小一个。
I know.
Let's go.
Gasol.
out 呀，我咋还不 out？
Laying down smoke.
What kind of adapter? It's like the car plug.
L V 俩
A 小进来
，A 小
，L V 还有个大狙。
Fire in the hole.
哎呀，又全死了，我靠！
Laying down smoke. Terrorists win. Move it, son. Decoy.
Right now I wanna find out about
Throwing fire.
find out about the company.
Gapang sa work.
Hi teachers, my name is Joan and welcome back to the YouTube channel. So today we're diving into essential tips to help you ace your Bizmate
上了
demo.
上了，
Alright, so in Bizmate's lesson materials, they have 5 key parts that you need to be
滑桥
familiar
滑
with.
桥，careful
So we have the warm up, see, try,
鱼
act,
OT
and practice. So today we're going to discuss what you need to do in
Genesis.
Bizmate. Let's start with warm up. So this part is crucial for setting the tone of the classroom and creating a comfortable atmosphere. So during the warm up, you should greet the students, introduce yourself, explain the goal of the lesson, and confirm if the student can hear and see clearly. Alright, so do not forget those 4 things. Alright, so here is a sample of how you should handle the warm-up. Hi, good morning. Can you hear and see me clearly? Perfect. By the way, my name is Joan Alice, but you can call me Joan. How about you? What is your name? Oh, nice to meet you, Taka-san. How are you
一小
today?
一小，
Alright, I'm glad to hear that you're doing great today. Alright, so let's start with our lesson. Are you ready?
U1
Okay, so today we will cover lesson 4 or level 4, rank A,
You want.
lesson 1, understanding time management. There you have it. That is how you should handle the warm-up. Okay, so now let's talk about the C part. In this section, you and the student will read a dialogue or an article. Okay, so pag
Meow, meow,
article
meow.
siya, si student lang yung magbabasa. And then you're going to ask follow-up questions to the student. Pag dialogue naman siya, meron siyang instruction na you're going to switch role. Okay? Yun yung unang
Okay, sometimes she's speaking in Filipino.
gagawin ninyo dito. And then next is instruct your student to read the BIS tip. Okay? Have them elaborate on what they understood and ask follow-up questions if necessary. So, yun dalawa yung gagawin ninyo sa C part. Okay? Read the dialogue or the article. Next is the BIS tip. That's it. Now let's discuss the try part. So this section focuses on having the students answer the series of questions related to this part. Okay, so pag pala mag-transition kayo, si student yung magbabasa ng instruction. Okay? For example, you can say something like this. Okay, now let's move on to try part. Please read the instruction. Ganon. So always si student. Okay? So yun lang. So babasahin ni student yung tanong and then he's going to answer. Okay? And you're going to ask follow-up.
Whatever.
Okay, that is the try part. Okay? Now we are in the act part, so the students should put their learning into practice. Okay, this typically involves activities such as role-playing, sharing their thoughts, or applying the best tip from the lesson. So during this part, si teacher nag-act siya as the counterpart or she engages in the activity with the student. So, kailangan marunong din si teacher about dun sa topic. Okay? Kasi paano niya i-handle itong act part. Kasi this is the interaction that helps create a realistic scenario for the students to apply their knowledge and skills effectively. That's it. Finally, we have the wrap-up. So, review the key points and give a brief feedback. So, mga ilang seconds lang siguro, like mga 30 seconds, and then you're going to give your feedback. Okay, for example, you might say, today we finished lesson 1, understanding time management, and I'm impressed with your performance. Well done. And then say, thank you for studying at Bizmates, and then give a polite bow. Okay?
I'm pretty scared that my application would lapse. I'm just waiting for them to check everything so that we can proceed.
A 包，
And you know, I'm just saying it's gonna be unfair if my application lapses because they're not doing their stuff on time, and I submitted everything on time and I did I did the training on time. At this point, they're like 10 days late. I don't understand.
A 小 A 小 A， 中路中路中路中路，
I know there are a lot
这
of
个雷把烟炸开了，操！
I know that there are a lot of applicants, but that's not an excuse. You know, if Like, if they're undermanned, you know, maybe they should work double time. But I don't know with them. I don't know the full story. I don't know what happens behind the scenes. So I can't really judge them.
Waiting here. Move it, move it. Fire in the hole. Throwing a grenade. Incendiary. Incendiary out. Deploying decoy. Grenade out.
注意注意，快快快，回防！
Throwing smoke.
敌方目前没进，帮我看一下杀气外边。Wait，往这等我。
Good job.
Deploying flashbang.
Meow meow.
Good job, everyone.
Hold on, I haven't done Genshin Impact. I'm definitely gonna cook maybe a couple of eggs. And I don't know, maybe... so long. I think I'm gonna get some water. Let me just finish this cup. Wait, I'm gonna get some water. It's taking a while. Power plant. Excuse me. You know what, let me try. What? It's not enough. Yo, maybe I should keep on like mining for that. Excuse me. The frick? It's like no damage. Oh. It's like she doesn't have any damage. 946. Man, now I want Dr. Pepper. You know, last time I checked, that costs like more than a US dollar. Damn! Two US dollars. How about Kool-Aid? Well, I should really avoid colored drinks. I've forgotten who I'm gonna be grinding for. I freaking forgot. Man, I don't know what to do right now. What to grind for. Maybe more. Okay, it's 12 midnight right now. This is like almost $10. I'd rather drink energy drink.
Get them! Cut to the chase! Don't blink! Hey!
Keep back!
Speed of light! Incoming! Nowhere to hide! Got lucky that time! Speed of light! Hey!
I have a lot of Primo Gems, but I don't wanna use them. I wonder when Yelon's banner will be up again. Probably, I don't know, almost a year from now. Let's listen to, I don't know, scary stories. Man, I'm really craving bacon. Oh,
Today, we
fires.
have a very special bonus video for you guys. It's a collection of 5 true crime stories, and the first story you'll hear is actually a story I told on a live stream. That's the only place I've ever published the story, so if you missed the live stream, you missed the story until today. Because we pulled that story out of the live stream footage, we edited that story, and it's going to be included in today's video. The other 4 stories are fan favorites and some of the most disturbing cases we've ever covered. Now, even if you've seen one of these 4 other stories before, don't worry, they have been completely re-edited, so it will be like a brand new viewing experience. But before we get into those 5 stories, if you're a fan of the strange, dark, and mysterious delivered in story format, then you've come to the right place because that's all we do, and we upload once a week. So, if that's of interest to you, please offer to fill up the like button's new waterbed, but instead of using water, use quick drying cement. Also,
Ready
please
for
subscribe to
trial.
our channel and turn on all notifications so you don't miss any of our weekly uploads. Okay, let's get into today's stories.
Let's go. Time is... Surrendering.
On June 7, 2008, a middle-aged woman named Kim Spengler was working at this family paint shop. She worked there, she'd been there for several years, and she was stocking shelves, going about her day, when one of her colleagues came up to her and tapped her on the shoulder and said, "Hey Kim, there's an alarm going off in the parking lot and we think it's your car." And Kim, immediately when she heard this, she became totally panicked. She thanked the colleague and said, okay. And then Kim, she went to the counter where she'd stashed her purse, and she grabbed her keys out of her purse, her car keys, and she put the keys into her fists like brass knuckles. She put the key kind of pointing up out of her hand, and so she's kind of holding her keys like a weapon. And she makes her way towards the door. This is in North Carolina, suburban North Carolina. It was in the middle of the summer, super hot. And she's got these keys in her hand, and she steps outside into the blazing heat, and she can hear the alarm going off, and she looks and she can see it's her car. It's definitely going off. But for Kim, it's like she wasn't really focused on the car. She's sort of anxiously looking around the parking lot, looking for any sudden movement. She's looking if anybody's coming up to her. I mean, she's totally on edge. And the reason for this is because recently Kim had left a very toxic relationship with her boyfriend, a guy named Ricky Simmons, who was 49 years old. Ricky and Kim had connected 5 years earlier when Kim was going through a really dark time in her life. She was struggling with substance abuse. She was just at a low point, and Ricky also was sort of at a low point too in his life. He also was struggling with substance abuse. He had just gotten out of jail. He had served time for manslaughter, in fact. And Kim, I think that she basically looked at him as being sort of like a troubled soul, but somebody that still had a heart of gold in there somewhere. There was a kinship there was a relatability. And so that was 5 years ago from this point in the parking lot with the car alarm. However, a few months earlier, Kim had gotten the strength and become sober. And when she became sober, well, one, Ricky didn't like it. Ricky was sort of not an advocate of hers at all, and so they ended up breaking up, and it was a very rocky breakup. Kim at first thought that Ricky would sort of just get over it, but Ricky began effectively stalking Kim. He began showing up at her apartment unannounced. This is a few months earlier. It got to the point where Kim actually filed a restraining order against Ricky because he was becoming so sort of unhinged. He was so unhappy about what had happened, about the breakup. On top of that, there was something else that really was sitting in the back of Kim's mind, which was, Ricky wasn't just this unhappy boyfriend or ex-boyfriend. He also was the primary suspect in the disappearance of his son's fiance. He had a 22-year-old son, and his son had a fiancée. Her name was Jamie Fraley. And around the same time that Kim broke up with Ricky,
You're in for
Ricky
a
not
little
only
shock.
became sort of
Blitz.
obsessed with Kim and became her stalker, but he also sort of began a lot of the same behaviors with Jamie, again, his son's fiance. And about a month after Kim and Ricky had broken up, Jamie went missing. And Ricky was the primary suspect in her disappearance. And he was actively being investigated for her disappearance. So, from Kim's perspective, she knows that Ricky is, he's an ex-con, he served time for manslaughter, he knows that he's being investigated for this disappearance. And so she's constantly on edge here. Like, despite her restraining order, she does not feel like that's actually going to keep Ricky out of her life. She's very scared of him. And so when her alarm went off, her first thought is, it's got to be Ricky. Maybe he's broken into my car. Maybe he's setting a trap for me, whatever it is. And so as she goes outside, that's what's going through her head. Anyhow, so she gets out in the parking lot. It's blazing hot. She's got her keys in her hand. And she's looking around, but she doesn't see Ricky. Big open parking lot, bunch of cars. She sees her car. And so she flicks her key fob and turns off the alarm because it is her car that's going off. And she walks through the parking lot and she gets to her car. She kind of is careful as she's walking up to it, making sure nobody's hiding, But when she gets to her car, she sees there's no damage. The car is undamaged. All the windows are rolled up. There's certainly no sign that anybody broke into her car. And so Kim is thinking, okay, clearly what's happened here is, somebody must have just bumped into it. Like, this has nothing to do with Ricky. This is just, I'm on edge, given what's happening in my life. And so again, she's turned off the car alarm. She checks her car, again, just to make sure, Ricky's not here. And he's not. There's nothing going on with her car. And she ends up going back into the paint shop. And so she goes back in the paint shop and she finishes up her shift. And by the time her shift ends, which was only a few hours later, she hadn't forgotten about the car alarm thing because Ricky and sort of the torment he was causing in her life was really front of mind for her. And so when she left the paint shop now to go home, she had calmed down, but she's walking through the parking lot, going back to her car, like just again on edge. She's got her keys, poking out of her hand like as a weapon. She gets to her car and there's nobody there. She immediately hops inside, shuts the door, locks it, turns it on, blasts the AC. And it's like she can relax. Like, okay, she's safe in her car. But as she's sitting there, she sort of took stock of the fact that her car was kind of a mess. Now, normally Kim was a very organized and clean person. She was very tidy. But really, over the past few months that she'd been dealing with this saga, which was the Ricky saga, she had sort of, kind of fallen off on regular duties, like keeping her car clean, that type of thing. But she knew the next day, which was Sunday, she was going to be going to church early in the morning, and she had volunteered to drive some of her church friends to church. And so she's thinking as she's sitting in the car, exhausted from the day, like, oh, okay, the car is kind of smelly, and there's trash, and there's clothes, and there's this. She's like, I got to clean out my car when I get home because I don't want to, roll up to my friends tomorrow for church and have this car be smelly and gross. And so she tells herself, as soon as I get home, I'm going to clean my car. And for what it's worth, she typically did do that. Most nights, she would clean her car out, take out the clothes, whatever. But, after her drive, finally ended and she got home, she just, she was checked out. And she's like, you know what? I know I need to take out my dirty clothes and take out the trash and clean up, but I just don't have it in me. So I'll just get up early tomorrow, clean up my car, and then I'll go about my day. So she gets out of her car, she goes into her apartment, and she goes to bed. The next morning rolls around, and she gets up, except she sleeps through her alarm. She's late. And when she looks at the clock, she realizes she does not have enough time to clean her car. She doesn't really have any time at all. She basically needs to run out of the house, get in her car, and drive and pick up her friends. Otherwise, she's going to be late. I mean, she's already late. She sprints out of her house, gets in her car, and like right away, she's like, oh my goodness, like it's so messy, it smells bad, and she starts driving and she's like, taking trash and jamming it into the different compartments, doing her best to kind of make it look a little bit more presentable. She rolled the windows down to get some fresh air. But, she ended up picking up her friends for church. And, as soon as they get in, they're very polite. No one's going to call Kim out. They sort of know she's going through a rough time. But it's pretty obvious. They were kind of grossed out by the condition of the car. And Kim's like very apologetic. Like, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry it smells. I'm sorry it's dirty. I should have taken care of this. Next time I will. And they're like, oh, don't worry about it. And so they end up going to church. And after church, Kim went off on her own and sort of spent the day running errands. And around 6 p.m., she ends up coming back to her house. She's done for the day. She pulls into her parking space, and immediately she's like, okay, I need to clean my car. Like, this is a full day overdue here. I gotta clean my car. And so she starts cleaning her car. She pulls a trash can over. She takes the trash out of the main cabin of the car. She takes out work stuff and papers. And then once the interior of the car had been straightened up, she went around to the trunk, because in the trunk was her dirty clothes. And so Kim, she goes to the trunk, she opens it up, flips it open, and she freezes when she sees what's in the trunk. So to understand what she found in the trunk, you have to go back 24 hours. So 24 hours earlier, this is back on Saturday, Kim, her car alarm was going off. So it turns out she was right to suspect that potentially Ricky could have been involved with her car alarm, and I'll explain why. Every Saturday, for forever, Kim had a very particular routine. Every Saturday, she would go to the gym in the morning, she would change out of her clothes, and she would put her gym clothes in the trunk, put on her work clothes, she'd go to work, and then in the evening, she would get home and take those dirty clothes out and clean them. That was her routine, and it was such a routine that, Ricky was aware of that routine. And so on Saturday, when she's at work, when the car alarm went off, it was Ricky. Ricky had broken into her car. Ricky knew that at the end of the day, she's going to open up that trunk, take her dirty clothes from the gym, and bring them inside. And
He was there inside.
But unfortunately for Ricky, Kim didn't do that, right? So Ricky, he breaks into her car, and he climbs into her trunk. And in hand is a knife. He's holding a knife. Closes the trunk on himself, knowing again, based on her routine, she's going to open that up at the end of the night and he could spring out and attack her. But because of Kim's torment from Ricky and how scatterbrained she was, she didn't empty her trunk that night. And so for 24 hours, Ricky stayed in the trunk with that knife. And he eventually cooked to death. And so when she opened it up, he was dead and decomposing in the trunk.
Yes, he was in the trunk.
Still clutching that knife. In addition to that, unfortunately, Jamie Fraley, so Ricky's son's fiance, her body was never found. She was never found. And police still suspect that Ricky had murdered her. We don't know what happened to her. But what almost certainly happened is simply because Kim did not open the trunk that night. She saved her life.
Absorption test. Swirl. Mark 2. Nowhere to hide.
Are you trying to extract ancient DNA the wrong way? Are your tools lacking what it takes to get the job done? Are you at your wit's end and just trying anything at this point? Stop!
Animal testing
Introducing
308.
Get That Ancient DNA the Right Way
Surrender.
with Dr. Ben.
Why do they never miss?
The quick and easy way to get that ancient DNA.
Don't blink. Hey.
The first step is to find the thing that you want to extract DNA from. Today, I have this cattle jaw. It's been sitting outside in Texas, so it's not going to be very well preserved. But any bone that you can find will probably work. And you'll see that it has bone, has a little bit of tissue, and it's even got some teeth. There'll be DNA in any one of those elements because it isn't actually that old. But I'm going to try the bone itself because that's likely to be pretty well preserved. I'm going to set myself up for success. It's going to make a lot of noise, and it's going to make a bit of a mess. So make sure the surface is clean. Make these surfaces ready. Put down some foil. Put on some gloves so that once I've cleaned the surface of the bone.
Last year, we launched our very first graphic novel. He tries the hand every morning. 15th. I know you're going to love it. Check it out. Your nightmares are waiting. In November of 2004, 52-year-old Peter Porco and his wife, 54-year-old Joan Porco, were like so many other middle-aged, middle-class Americans. They lived in Del Mar, New York, in a comfortable two-story home, and they worked for a living. Peter was an appellate court clerk, and Joan was a speech pathologist. They had been married for over 30 years and had 2 sons. Christopher was a 21-year-old student at the University of Rochester, and his brother, Jonathan, was a 22-year-old naval officer stationed at a submarine base in Rochester. On Monday, November 15th, 2004, Peter woke up to start his typical Monday morning work routine. He got up, he got out of bed, he went to the bathroom, he relieved himself, he looked in the mirror, he shaved, he He got dressed in his work clothes. He went downstairs, he put on a pot of coffee. While the coffee was brewing, he unloaded the dishwasher and then put the dirty dishes into the dishwasher and started it. He wanted to get his newspaper, so he went outside, he got his newspaper, but he realized he locked himself out of the front door. So he got the spare key out from underneath the mat, opened the front door, went inside, he sat down, had some coffee, read the newspaper. After a few minutes, he put his coffee cup in the sink, he packed himself a lunch in his lunchbox, and then he headed for the door to head for work. Peter was known as a very reliable employee who was also very punctual and rarely missed work. So when he didn't get to work that Monday morning, the court was a little bit confused. They called him to see if he was okay. He didn't pick up. So they dispatched a court officer to go make sure he was okay. And so the officer arrives at his house. He sees cars in the driveway. The front door's shut. He goes up. He knocks on the door. Nobody answers. He tries the handle of the front door. He realizes it's open. So he opens the door and he yells out, "Hey, I'm just looking for Peter." And the door hits something on the ground. He pokes his head inside and looks down, and there on the ground, the thing blocking the door, is Peter Porco's body. He's clearly deceased, and he clearly has a massive head wound. The court officer steps outside immediately, calls 911, local police show up, they go inside, and sure enough, Peter is dead. They go upstairs and they find his wife, Joan, in bed, also with a massive head wound, but she was still alive. Joan was rushed to a hospital where she underwent emergency surgery and then was put into a medically induced coma. Meanwhile, the police began their investigation into who could have done this. They quickly discovered that the home's alarm system had been smashed and a phone line, because there still was landlines at the time, had been cut from the outside and a screen in the windows had been slashed.
Try not to enjoy this.
Someone climbed into the house. However, nothing appeared to have been stolen because police almost immediately found Peter's wallet with money inside of it still sitting in the house, as well as very expensive jewelry that belonged to Joan, still sitting there. As they continued to search the house, they discovered a fireman's axe that belonged to the Porcos hidden inside of one of the bedroom closets. It was very clear this was the murder weapon. The Porco sons had been away during this attack. John was on his submarine in Connecticut, and Chris was at the University of Rochester. And in fact, Chris found out about the attack from his parents when he saw a news report, because this story of this innocent, typical-seeming American couple in a quiet suburb getting struck down by some axe-wielding maniac had gone totally viral and was all over the news. And so Chris called the police to get more information about his parents' death. Here's the recording.
Hi, my name is Chris Porco. I was just called by Times Union saying that my parents were found dead this afternoon. I was wondering if you had any information on me.
Hey Chris, whereabouts are you?
I'm at school in Rochester, New York.
Okay, you're in Rochester?
Yes.
Okay, and you're hearing from the Times Union?
Yeah, they said my parents were found, I guess, I don't know, they didn't say how or anything.
So you will be here probably, you're going to go right to Albany Med?
I don't know, I don't even know where my mom is. But...
Yeah, she is at Albany Med.
Okay, do you know her condition?
No, because I haven't talked to her. Let me give you my pager number.
As you can tell, Chris is extremely emotional. He's beside himself. He can barely speak. He's so upset about what's happened to his parents. No, actually, he sounds as calm as if he's ordering a pizza, because Chris Porco was actually a psychopath, and he was the one who attacked his parents with the axe. As it turns out, Chris was failing at school and taking out huge loans in his father's name by forging his signature.
I've heard this one.
And his father,
I think I did it with a shotgun.
Found out about it. So Mr.
Or something else, I don't know.
And Mrs. Porco write their son a strongly worded email where they tell him this behavior has to stop, and they're very disappointed in him, but they love him and they will help him get back on his feet. Chris responded by driving home in the middle of the night, sneaking into his house and attacking his parents with an axe. While this case is already disturbing and horrific and tragic, it's what happens to Chris's father after the attack that makes it one of the most brutal cases of all time. After being struck 16 times in the head and laying unconsciously in his bed as his son snuck out of his house, Peter suddenly sat up and began his morning routine. He got dressed, he went to the bathroom, he shaved, he went downstairs, he made coffee, he did his chores, he went outside to get the newspaper, he got locked out, he got the key from under the mat, went back inside, he packed his own lunch. When he was finally ready to go, he headed to the door and then he collapsed and he died. Due to the severity of Peter's head wound, his brain was basically broken and it was unable to recognize he had been gravely injured. So in his final moments, he believed it was just a typical Monday morning going about his work routine, when in reality, he had a gaping head wound and he was basically dead after the 16th blow to his head. One of the more surprising and heart-wrenching details of this case is that Joan Porco, she did survive the attack. And after she came out of that medically induced coma, she said she forgot all the details of the attack, even though when she was discovered in her bed, she did indicate that Chris, her son, was the attacker. Nonetheless, she got together $250,000 to post Chris's bail, and she allowed him to come stay with her during his trial. And the two attended the trial together, walking into the courthouse hand in hand. Chris was very quickly found guilty of killing his father and attempting to kill his mother, and he was sentenced to 50 years to life in prison. Despite the verdict, Joan Porco still speaks to Christopher over the phone and frequently visits him in prison. It's unclear if she still believes he is innocent.
Imagine redness calmed in seconds. Skin 1004 centellipads.
On August 28, 1984, an 18-year-old girl named Elizabeth went missing. On the first day she was gone, her friends and family went out looking for her, but they couldn't find her. The following day, when she still hadn't shown up and no one had heard from her, her parents went to the local police station in the Austrian town of Amstetten, which is about an hour west of Vienna, and they reported her missing. The police launched an initial search of the town and the surrounding areas, but after several weeks, they had found nothing that connected to Elizabeth and where she had gone. A month after she had been reported missing, her parents came back to the police station, except this time they were carrying a note that they say they received in the mail from their missing daughter. It was postmarked from a town that was about 2 hours west of Amstetten, and in this note, Elizabeth writes directly to her parents, and she tells them that she had grown tired of living with them, and she did not want them to come looking for her, and if she discovered they were looking for her, she would just flee the country. After the police read the note, they asked the parents if they thought it was real, if this was a legitimate letter from their daughter, and they said, yeah, they think it is. And then after that, her father, Joseph, suggested that maybe his daughter had run off to join the cult. That was something he thought she was getting into before her disappearance. After the parents left the police station, the police began conducting interviews with other family members and friends of Elizabeth to see if it was possible that she might have run off to join the cult. And virtually everyone they spoke to said, absolutely not. There is no way she ran off to join the cult. That just wasn't her. She was a quiet, conservative person, and they had never heard her talking about the cult or anything that even resembled a cult. These answers left the police feeling very suspicious of the whole situation, and so they decided to look into the young woman's history to see if there was some other reason she might have run off. In their research, they discovered that Elizabeth was one of 7 siblings that all lived together with their parents, Joseph and Rose Marie. Joseph was a successful electrical engineer and real estate developer who was well liked and respected in town, and Rose Marie had gotten married very young, at the age of 17, and she had stayed home to take care of the kids. By all accounts, from the outside looking in, they were a very ordinary family. But as the police began to dig deeper and deeper into their history, they discovered there were some big problems behind closed doors. Despite his friendly, outward public appearance, Joseph was actually a ruthless authoritarian when he was home alone with his family. At night, when he came home from work, his wife and his kids would immediately stop whatever they were doing and go silent in hopes they might avoid a beating. The only member of the family that seemed willing to stand up to Joseph was Elizabeth, and she and her father would frequently get into screaming fights, and then as punishment for these fights, Joseph would not only beat his daughter, he would also prevent her from seeing her friends for long periods of time, and he would go through her personal things like her diary. Their toxic relationship finally came to a head when Elizabeth finally ran away from home 2 years prior to her most recent disappearance. She made it all the way to Vienna before authorities caught up to her and brought her back home. Upon learning about this earlier disappearance, the police became convinced that the most recent disappearance was yet another attempt to escape her abusive and controlling father. And so the police decided that this was more of a family affair, and they didn't push the investigation further. A year went by, and neither the police nor her family heard anything from Elizabeth, and so her case was closed. But 24 years later, a seemingly unconnected event broke her case wide open. On April 19, 2008, a 19-year-old named Kirsten was rushed to the hospital in Amstetten. Her skin was so pale it looked almost transparent. She was unconscious and suffering from seizures as well as lung and kidney failure. The doctors were able to stabilize her by putting her into a medically induced coma, But after running a litany of tests, they couldn't figure out what was causing her to have this medical condition, and so they were not able to treat her effectively. They assumed it had to be some sort of genetic condition, so they put her name into the medical database, but nothing came up. Her name wasn't listed. And so this was very perplexing because everybody's name was in this database. And so they took her name and they ran it in other medical databases, and her name didn't show up in any of them. And so totally confused by this girl who seemingly didn't exist, who was exhibiting symptoms of a condition none of the doctors had seen before, the doctors decide they have to speak to the guy she showed up with, an older man who was out in the waiting room. When the doctors approached him, he said he was Kirsten's grandfather, but beyond that, he offered virtually no new information. In fact, he was aggressive, rude, and dismissive, and anytime they asked him questions, he would answer as minimally as possible. And when the doctors really fixated on whether or not Kirsten had some underlying medical condition, he would not give them an answer. He would just dismiss it and say he didn't know anything, but it was the doctor's impression that he did know something, he just didn't want to tell them. And this behavior shocked them because they're thinking the information he has could potentially save his granddaughter's life. Why wouldn't he want to give it to us? And so after this disastrous interaction with the grandfather, the doctors decided to get the police involved. There were just too many red flags not. When the police arrived, they were surprised to find out that this older man in the waiting room was none other than Joseph, the father of the still missing Elizabeth. The police asked Joseph, "What's going on here?" And he tells them that earlier that day he had opened his front door of his house, and lying on his front step was a girl he had never seen before, it was Kirsten, and there was a note laying on her from his missing daughter, Elizabeth. In the note, Elizabeth writes to Joseph directly and tells him, "This girl here is Kirsten, and she is my daughter, so she's your granddaughter, and she's sick, and I can't take care of her. Can you and Mom take her to the hospital?" While the police had many more questions about this totally bizarre turn of events, they realized that for the time being, they needed to focus their efforts on just getting Elizabeth to contact them, because they needed to know more about Kirsten's medical condition so they could save her life. And so the police went to the media, and they put out a message on TV and on radio that was a direct appeal to Elizabeth that basically said, "We need you to come forward as soon as possible and speak to us so we can help save your daughter's life." And all the messages worked, because a week later,
Bro, I'm not a woman, I'm a grown man with a voice changer.
When doctors asked, Joseph did not get into detail about how he actually located Elizabeth. He simply said he found her and now she wants to see her daughter. The doctors noticed that Elizabeth, who was supposed to be in her early 40s, looked like she could easily be in her 60s. Her hair was completely white and her skin was so pale it was almost transparent, just like they had noticed about her daughter's skin. And so after they checked in,
Bro, I'm not a woman, I'm a grown man with a voice changer. Anyway, I know this story already. I know this story. That man has them captive and has been abusing them.
Joseph and Elizabeth made their way to Kirsten's room, and the pair went inside, and the doctors that were in there would say that Elizabeth looked terrified. She was hunched over and kind of slouched down, and she wouldn't make eye contact with any of the doctors. And as she was standing there looking at her terribly sick daughter, the doctors began asking her, "Do you know of any underlying health problems your daughter might have that might help us treat her more effectively?" And Elizabeth was so scared she couldn't even talk. And at some point, the questions became too much for her, and she just turned around and walked out into the hall with Joseph. And once they got out in the hall, the police were waiting for them. They had been tipped off as soon as the doctors saw Joseph and Elizabeth come into the hospital. Elizabeth and Joseph were detained and brought to the police station, where they were put in 2 separate rooms to be interviewed. They first interviewed Elizabeth, and initially, just like in the hospital room, she was totally mute and didn't say anything. And for 5 hours, the police drilled her with questions. Where had she been for the last 24 years? What happened to Kirsten? Did she have something to do with her illness? And they kept reminding her throughout these 5 hours that if she never gave them any information, and God forbid something were to happen to Kirsten, she, Elizabeth, could be held criminally liable. And so eventually, Elizabeth, in a very small, meek voice, said, "Okay, I'll tell you the story, but you have to promise me you'll never have to see your father, Joseph, ever again." When she said this to the police, they could tell she was so scared that they said, "Okay, fine. You'll never have to see your father again. We'll make sure of it. Tell us what happened." After that, Elizabeth clutched her hands, she took a deep breath, and then she told them one of the most horrifying stories they had ever heard. a story so disturbing that it would make headlines all around the world for months. It all began 24 years earlier on August 28, 1984, the day Elizabeth went missing. On that day, she told police she was at her family home in Amstetten when her father asked her to come into the basement to help him with something. Her father, for the last several years, had been constructing a bomb shelter in the basement, and he was now only one door installation away from being done. At the time, in the early 1980s, the Cold War was still very much on, and so building bomb shelters inside of your home was a relatively common thing. So Elizabeth goes down into her basement, and she sees her father standing in front of this empty frame where this door is going to go that leads into the shelter. And so she walks over and steps through the frame into the shelter, turns around, and her father hands her this door, and she holds it in the middle of the frame while he secures it to the hinges. And then once it's securely in place, suddenly he swings open the door, knocking Elizabeth backwards farther into the shelter. And before she could stand back up again, her father had run inside and pushed an ether-soaked towel onto her face, knocking her unconscious. When she came to again, she found herself chained up in the very back room of the shelter. It would turn out this bomb shelter that Joseph had spent 6 years constructing was not actually a bomb shelter. It was a prison he was building specifically for Elizabeth. To get into this shelter, you would have to go down the steps into the basement, which looked like a typical unfinished basement. And then on the far wall, you would see these shelves that had things like paint cans, and screwdrivers, and other tools you would expect to find in the basement. But if you walked over to the left side of the shelving, there was a lock on the back of it that if you undid it, the shelf itself would swing out like a door, and then behind it on the wall would reveal a 3-foot-tall secret door. This secret door was also locked, but not by a key lock. Instead, it was locked by a keypad lock that only Joseph had the code to. And since Joseph was an electrical engineer, he took great care in ensuring this lock never could be tampered with or destroyed. That thing was going to stay locked unless he unlocked it. When Joseph entered his code into the keypad, he could open that secret door and it would reveal this secret underground prison that was basically a winding maze of small rooms with ceilings that were too short to be able to stand up all the way. If you walked through this secret door and actually entered into this prison, you would start by entering this soundproof narrow hallway that went on for several feet before it entered into this very small bathroom area where the bathroom was unbelievably cramped and there was no doors, there was no privacy. And then if you didn't stop in the bathroom and you just kept walking straight through that first hallway, you would reach another hallway that was totally soundproof and narrow, and at the end of that hallway, it would feed into a very small bedroom that was so small that it barely contained the one bed that was inside of it. And then off to the right side of that bedroom was another door that led into a similarly sized bedroom. All of the walls of this underground prison were made of thick, reinforced concrete. That, combined with the soundproofing that Joseph had installed throughout the entire prison, meant no one could hear Elizabeth's cries for help. Also, the inside of the prison was heavily monitored by Joseph's security system. So truly, Elizabeth had absolutely no privacy. She was completely trapped, and the only way she was getting out was if her father freed her. For the first 5 years of her imprisonment, she remained in that dungeon all alone. Her only connection to the outside world was her father, who would come down almost every night to drop off basic supplies and to assault her. As far as Joseph's wife and his other kids knew, he was just spending all this time in the basement because that's where he worked when he was not at the office. In 1988, Elizabeth became pregnant with her father's child.
Yeesh. And he kept doing that even when the other family members.
He was terrified of the pregnancy and begged Joseph to at least allow her to deliver the child in the hospital. But he refused. He wasn't willing to potentially expose himself for what he was doing. And so he gave her a book about childbirth, and he gave her a pair of scissors to cut her umbilical cord and said good luck. And so on August 30th, Elizabeth delivered her daughter, Kirsten, alone in that basement. Following the birth of Kirsten, Elizabeth would deliver 6 more of her father's children, all the same way she delivered Kirsten, alone and in the basement. In 1996, one of Elizabeth's newborn babies, Michael, was born with respiratory issues, and so Elizabeth pleaded with Joseph to take the baby to the hospital to get help, but Joseph refused. He was worried he would be exposed. And so 3 days after his birth, the baby died in Elizabeth's arms. After the baby died, Joseph just took the body, threw it in a stove, and incinerated it like it was nothing. In the late 90s, the 6 living children down in the basement were getting bigger and noisier, And so Joseph came up with a plan in order to reduce the chances of them being discovered. And so one day, Joseph went downstairs into the basement and he took one of Elizabeth's youngest children away from her. And then he threatened her and the rest of the kids down there that if they tried to fight back or if they ever tried to escape, he would seal off the basement and he would gas them to death. Previously, Joseph had punished the entire family by turning off their power and cutting off their food and water supply for multiple days at a time. So they knew he was willing and able to hurt them if they wanted to. So when he took this young child away from Elizabeth, they didn't put up a fight. The baby disappeared upstairs. And when Joseph's wife, Rosemary, came home, he put on this elaborate charade about how he had discovered this baby on the front step and that there was a note attached to the baby and it was from Elizabeth, their missing daughter, and this child was apparently Elizabeth's and she couldn't take care of it and she was leaving it here for he and Rosemary to raise it as their own. And Joseph had actually made Elizabeth write out this note and sign it to add credibility to the story. And so when Elizabeth's mother, Rosemary, saw this note and heard Joseph's story, she believed it. Over the next several years, Joseph would steal 2 more of Elizabeth's young children and then stage having found them on his front step with a note from Elizabeth. And with each discovered child, Rosemary amazingly never asked any questions. She just took these kids in and she and Joseph raised them as their own. Eventually, when these 3 kids got old enough, Joseph would tell them that their real mother, Elizabeth, was a lowlife and she abandoned them and she didn't care about them. And in reality, their mother and their other 3 siblings they didn't know existed were locked up in the basement below them. Initially, investigators believed all of these children Joseph had with Elizabeth were all mistakes, but it would turn out that was not the case. Joseph would admit that the reason he initially imprisoned Elizabeth was because he wanted to completely control her. He wanted to own her. And so he decided that if he could just impregnate her as many times as possible and make her have all these kids, even if she eventually got out of the prison, no man would want her. She had too many kids, and so she would remain his property. And so over the entire time Elizabeth was in prison, for 2 decades, the nightly assaults by her father never slowed down. It happened thousands of times. But despite the horrific and tragic circumstances surrounding each of her children's births, she loved her children unconditionally and would spend all of her time doing her best to educate them and care for them. The 3 children that remained with her, not taken by Joseph, she taught them how to read and how to write. And when Joseph had given them a TV and a radio to keep down there, she would use those 2 items to try to teach her kids about the outside world, and she would promise them that someday they would get to experience it for real. Finally, in 2008, so 24 years after Elizabeth had originally been captured by her father, her oldest daughter, Kirsten, becomes extremely sick. Elizabeth convinces Joseph to bring her to the hospital, and 1 week later, Joseph's heinous crimes were revealed to the world. Once police found out about the secret prison, they rushed to the house, and they went downstairs, and they used the codes and instructions that Joseph had given them, and they went inside, and they freed the last 2 remaining children that were still there. When they brought them to the hospital, the youngest of these 2 kids, who was 5 years old, he didn't speak the entire time. He just pressed his face up against the glass of the car window, and he stared out in utter amazement, because to that point in his life, he had never actually seen the world. After those 2 kids were brought to the hospital, they were reunited with the other 3 siblings that had been taken away from them years ago to live upstairs with Joseph and Rosemary. And apparently the reunion was very emotional and the kids were extremely happy to see each other. And then a couple days later, Kirsten would come out of her coma and she too would have a chance to be reunited with all of her siblings. Kirsten would ultimately make a full recovery. It would turn out she was suffering from a severe vitamin D deficiency. And vitamin D you primarily get from the sun, and in her 19 years of life, she had never been in the sun. As soon as the story broke about this family being trapped inside of this basement, everybody had the same question. How could Elizabeth's mother, Rosemary, not know what was going on in her basement? But the police had the same suspicions about Rosemary. They investigated her and they ruled her out. And they said she's not at fault here, she's a victim too. She had been so badly abused by Joseph that she lived in fear of him. And so when he forbade her from ever going anywhere near the basement, she listened. And if she ever heard any strange sounds coming out of the basement, or if she ever suspected any strange behavior by Joseph, she kept those thoughts to herself. forcing an escape. It's also worth noting that in those 24 years that Elizabeth and her kids were trapped in the basement, Joseph had over 100 people rent out a room inside of his house right over the basement. In those 24 years, not one of those tenants ever said Joseph was acting strangely or complained about strange noises coming from the basement. However, one tenant who was there for a 4-year stretch had a dog with him all the time. Every night, the dog at some point would suddenly stand up, its ears would prick up, and it would start growling like it heard or it saw something. And at first, this tenant would try to see what the dog had seen and heard, but after never seeing anything, he would always just dismiss the dog when it did this at night. Later on, when that tenant figured out what was actually happening inside the house while he was there, he realized his dog was most likely hearing the faint sounds of the family that was imprisoned right below him. After a year of therapy and rehabilitation, Elizabeth and her 6 kids were given new identities by the Austrian government, and they were sent off to a secret location to start their lives over. As such, there's virtually no information about how they're doing today. However, anonymous sources have come forward and said the family has successfully reintegrated into society, and they are all leading relatively normal and happy lives. As for Joseph, he was quickly given a life sentence, and today he is one of the most hated people in his prison due to the nature of his crimes. He is so hated that in 2016, when he was out in general population, he was attacked by other inmates and had several of his teeth knocked out. And so now prison officials are worried if they leave him in general population, he'll be killed, and so he spends virtually all of his time in solitary confinement. He will be eligible for parole in 2024 when he is 81 years old.
You can't run! Don't blink!
Robert Picton was born in 1949 in Port Coquitlam in British Columbia, which is about 15 miles to the east of Vancouver. He, along with his brother and sister, were raised by their parents on a big pig farm. In the 1970s, their parents passed away, and so the property was handed down to them. Robert and his brother took over the daily operations of the farm.
Okay, let's listen to this some other time. Here. It's already been 3 hours and I still haven't defrosted anything. So yes, maybe tomorrow let's listen to this, and for now let's finish this one. Let's just get the rewards, and then yeah, thank you so much guys for dropping by to our little stream. And yeah, I'm pretty scared about my application. It seems that the other departments are too busy and it might lapse. So yeah, that's what I'll be focused on in the near future. So again, thank you so much for dropping by, and goodbye for now. Bye bye.